Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. We are here at 2 for 1 Joe today. Our weekly show where we talk about movies and TV and sometimes video games, but it's all about the movie news that happened the week prior. Again, for all your movie reviews and all your TV reviews and movie breakdowns, go to Podcast 2 for 1. But if you like the content we provide here, go to youtube.com/2for1 studios. You can go to 2for1studios.com, the best place to consume all the content. We have all kinds of different series. 2 for 1 Backflash, 2 for 1 Collectors, and now 2 for 1 Joe. Today I have two very special guests. This is probably the first time I've done a 2 for 1 like interview kind of thing without Daniel. And we have Luke Irvin and Joel Williams today with us.
Nice to be here, man.
Yeah, of course. I know that I've had you guys both on the pod in the past, and it's nice to kind of bring you two guys together. I know you guys are both film buffs. You both like the movies, and you both like all the Marvel, Star Wars, and DC stuff that we cover on the channel. So I thought you guys would be a great the source of information here, and just get some cool things here. So
that's right.
let's start off here.
All the Star Wars.
All the Star Wars, right? All the Star Wars. A few things here. Let's I'm gonna kind of skip the box office this weekend, but we're gonna kind of go right into some of the heavy hitters here. We only have a finite amount of time. So the Batman tickets went on sale, right? And there were some early IMAX screenings that sold out, essentially kind of like they do a few days ahead of time for like a special fan event. Typically, they do that kind of thing to kind of drum up excitement for all the fans. You almost never hear any negative reaction from fans during these kind of events. It kind of feels like because you saw it early, because you got some special treatment, some goodie bags, a goodie bag perhaps, that you're going to have kind of nice things to say about it. I mean, I remember Venom, Let There Be Carnage. They had all the hype videos, and they had, I can't think all the movies like Wonder Woman 84. All these movies that didn't do too well, they kind of had these early access screenings. So that's kind of what the idea is, right, for those kind of screenings. But the big thing here is they have early box office projections initially to be between 135 million to 185 million, which is really, really good even for a not pandemic era, right? And we know Spider-Man kind of came in and did some really whopping numbers there. So now they're saying, it potentially, this is from boxofficepro.com, now they're saying that it could be up to $80 million opening weekend. And the reason why I'm asking you guys is, why do you think the projections are low? Is it the pandemic, or do you guys think that this movie might be not as talked about or excited, or people are excited for, as like we are? Like it's my most anticipated movie of the year. So what's your guys' thoughts on that? Joel, I want to ask you first.
Sure. I think part of it is still we're dealing with COVID backlash. All right. You're still getting people are kind of leery to go to the movie theaters and things like that. Me and my family, we're still kind of like every now and then we'll go see a movie theater. It just depends. We don't go during peak times or anything like that. But I think this is the nature when you reboot a character in the first place. If you're going to do a series of these films, remember the first film is normally, it may launch everything off, but it's not exactly that PAL factor that you normally get. Case in point, Batman Begins with The Dark Knight.
Luke, do you think people are just, I'm reminded of Batman Returns a little bit, where I wasn't really there during this time, so I can't speak for all the things that happened, but it definitely feels like that would be a little darker movie, and so parents are kind of not wanting to have their kids to it. Is that a issue also? You think it's parents not want to take their families, and it's more of an adult kind of movie?
Could be. Talked with my dad about it, and my dad's into all this stuff, but this one isn't very intriguing to him. Part of it could be the fact that this character has been recast so much. There's so much going on with this character. Like, there's no clear story or path. So I'm wondering if that's confusing to people. It could be casting choices. They're just not as excited, or they're very hesitant on how it can be. They may be waiting for like hardcore fans to go see it first and get their reviews out and then make those decisions.
Right.
Could be a number of things.
Well, I know they also kind of added in Robert. Of course, they're doing the review, or not the reviews, but the interviews, and they're kind of doing all the press junkets, that kind of thing. Robert Pattinson come out and said, "Hey, I really had a lot of fun on this movie," which is, again, we had a lot of rumors during the 18th month long shoot that they were had a lot of tension between him and Matt Reeves. But he says he's had a lot of fun with it. He really enjoyed playing the character, and he's really down to do a trilogy. And he also kind of said he's down to do as many as they wanted to do, which is kind of a big, bold statement, especially in today's superhero movie climate, right? Like, typically we kind of, like Tom Holland, for example, he's like, oh, I'm not really sure, what I'm gonna do, and then the movie comes out, and it's still kind of wishy washy, and it's a salary negotiation kind of thing, right? So, are you guys excited for a trilogy of Batman films, or are you guys and beyond? Like, do you guys want to see him mix in with a potential multiverse, Black Adam and Aquaman, those kind of things? Joel?
Oh, yeah, I thought you were going to say Batman Beyond, which is like, yes, let's do Batman Beyond. I'm ready for
Yeah,
that.
me too. Yeah, for real.
Uh, I'm actually kind of stoked about this because this is the first time we've taken Batman the Detective in a film aspect. I mean,
Right.
you've kind of toyed with it, but it's always been Batman. He fights the villains, where you haven't really given him that true honesty what the character is that we got in Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
But this one, I think he's actually treating him like a detective, and I think it could really develop into something else. It's definitely a darker version of Batman, though, and I that's where I kind of think the character has evolved. You're really getting more of Gotham is hell on earth. I mean, that was the whole reason I enjoyed the Joker with Joaquin. It was just, to me, that movie was amazing simply for the fact that it's like you really realize this place is terrible.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a different type of Gotham, and they're all pretty bad. I just rewatched Batman Begins over the weekend, which I love,
Mhm.
and I'm like, man, we are getting, a different, albeit kind of similar take on Batman. Luke, I got a question. Do you think we'll ever see like any of these fantastical characters in this Matt Reeves Batman trilogy?
It's always a chance. Actually watched Injustice for the first time over the weekend,
The
and there
cartoon
was
or
a lot of
okay,
yeah, the animated
gotcha,
film that came out.
gotcha.
There were a lot of elements in that I was thinking on in terms of like, it does go into their version of like a multiverse of different versions of Earth. So
Right.
Yep.
Matt, I could see Matt potentially being open to that idea. Um, I think this kind of goes into what we've talked about before. I think with DC, it's a lot of a leadership. They need to really work well together in terms of like the various directors to kind of build out the story and
Mhm.
make sure everyone's on the same page and can make it work.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I mean,
I'd agree entirely with that.
yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with it. Of course, we only have a couple of weeks left, and I'm sure we'll have tons of thoughts on it as they go. So, Spider-Man snubbed at the Oscars, right? We had all the Best Picture, all the fancy awards announced, and there was what was interesting was I'm not a huge Jimmy Kimmel fan, but I did see a piece he done, kind of pointing out some of like the films that were nominated, how their Rotten Tomatoes score was lower than Spider-Man's, and again, Rotten Tomatoes doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day. It's right. It's an aggregation of a lot of different review critics. So like 80%, if it said 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, for reviewers, it could mean like 80% thought it was like slightly above average. Like, it's kind of a hard thing to kind of gauge sometimes. Typically, you need to go towards like more Metacritic or even maybe audience score to kind of get a general idea of what's going on here. And of course, personal preference. But he did point this out, and I started kind of thinking about it. So I started going through the list of nominees, and Spider-Man sits at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, right? Which is pretty high, especially for a superhero film. And let's look at some of the lower ones here. There was 10 nominations for Best Picture. Nightmare Alley, 80%. Don't Look Up, 56%. Dune, 83. Belfast, 87. Licorice Pizza, 91. West Side Story, 92. King Richard, 90. So that's like over half or six of them out of the 10 that are lower than 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. And you got to think too, like, Spider-Man, all these other blockbusters, they get like 300, 350 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, which is like the most, right? These other ones don't have as many reviews. So it's even harder for Spider-Man to get 93% than these other ones. So you got to ask yourself. Also, you know, it's the number one movie of 2022 and 2021 and 2020, right? Like It's been like the biggest movie since right before the pandemic, and it's almost hit 2 billion now with 1.8 billion at the time of this recording. So, why do you guys think that it should be nominated for Best Picture? And if so, why? And if not, why? Luke, go first.
Oh man, this is a tough one because there's other movies that are very high on my list that aren't even on this list. Like,
Sure.
why can't they be? Like for me, A Quiet Place Part Two is still probably my favorite movie of last year.
Oh wow, I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
Why can't that be on this list? Like, I don't. Yeah, sometimes I just don't get where these people are coming from on certain things. Like, should certain styles of films or genres of films or subgenres of films be completely excluded, or should it be open to everything? Ideally, I think open to everything.
Well, there's something, I mean, interesting here about like, you would think, and I get it. Look, the Spider-Man
Yeah,
doesn't have always the best visual effects. It doesn't have the best, cinematography in certain areas, not even the best score compared to the movies like Dune or whatever. I get that. But also, you got to think they would take into account like this movie has made 1.8 billion dollars. Like it was a cultural moment, right? Like everyone's in the pandemic, this thing comes out, it blew up the internet. It's still kind of blowing up the internet in some ways. And you would think the Academy might be like, okay, look, this is a, kind of like, I don't know. I feel like there might be some recognition there. I know it was nominated for best visual effects, but it's not going to win that, which we know that. And it's like, I don't know, just something about it. You feel like, is the Academy in tune with like actual moviegoers or audiences? And I mean, I know we have the People's Choice Awards and we have other things like that that kind of supplement that. They kind of go to like the blockbusters, the action heroes, that kind of stuff. I get that, but you feel like there would be some nod, some recognition beyond the visual effects.
yeah.
Joel?
Look, yeah. I think you're forgetting one very important thing here, okay? In the Academy is a bunch of artists, all right? And that's fine. That's who they are, man. They're very, very cool that way. But there's always going to be this debate. There has been this debate about sci-fi, fantasy, and superhero movies because that all ties it in together. Okay, and it's already amazing enough that one of the highest receiving Oscar movies is Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. I mean, and rightfully so. But there's still this debate about, are superhero movies just popcorn movies? Are they legitimate film stuff? Is it just to make money? I mean, so that's what you're dealing with. You're still dealing with a lot of the portion of the Academy is very much artists. They're looking for this amazing acting. They're looking for, something, that wow factor that blows people's minds. I mean, I've got a lot of like Academy Award winning movies on my shelf. And yeah, they're great movies. Here's my question though. Am I going to go back and watch them again? Because let's be honest, some of them are pretty heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look,
Or
I get it.
or
I
pretty
get it.
bad. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
Some of them are. Sometimes I'm like, why?
well, I mean, look
like
here.
I
Let's talk about this. Look, this makes no sense to me. Like Dune is nominated for 10 nominations, including Best Picture, I think Best Cinematography, Best Sound Design, Best Visual Effects, Best Costume Design. It's the second most nominations out of all of them, but it's not nominated for Best Director. What the fuck does that mean? Like, do they not like? I know they understand it. It's like because they make the movie. Like, do they understand that like all those different departments go through the director? At least it's supposed to, right? I mean, there's
yeah.
special circumstances, but like if you're not, I feel like if you're nominated for five or more categories, you should almost be like assumed you're going to be nominated for best director. I know sometimes they'll give like best picture to a movie and then best director to another to kind of like split it a little bit. I mean, sometimes they get both, which is kind of rare, but like that makes no goddamn sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you. Yeah, this is good to bring that up because that seems to be the common thread in film Twitter world. Everyone's frustrated about that, and that's the core question is why. I don't know. Like I'm with everyone. It's like doesn't make any sense to why you'd snub someone on that one particular thing. And it seems most people are going into like the past few awards. It's like they're just wanting to do same things that they've done in the past years, and
Well, I do know that the way the Academy votes for things is a little interesting, or at least I know how they vote for things is interesting. I'm not sure how they nominate things. I know voting is like they have like one, two, and three choices, I think, and it's like a hierarchy system of. It's really weird. It's not like a normal voting system. So sometimes movies that could like have been spread more evenly amongst the voters, even though other ones were like number one choice, they'll become best picture when the other one had more number. Anyway, it's a weird system. You can look it up online and read all about it. It's kind
Okay,
of interesting how they do stuff. But let's move on.
let me check that
Um,
out. Yeah.
yeah, let's move on. Two things. Amazon Prime. Jack Reacher dropped. It was renewed within 3 days of release, which is a pretty big deal. If you guys didn't know, Tom Cruise made Jack Reacher and made Jack Reacher Never Back Down with Skydance and a few others. Shout out to Skydance, my Skydance peeps. And the movies were somewhat successful in a way, but they kind of rebooted it now with Alan Richardson for this new Amazon Prime television series. I've watched the first couple episodes. I love it. I don't really know much about the Lee Child's books, but a part of my question is that plus Lord of the Rings now, which we'll talk about a little bit later with the trailer, is Amazon Prime starting to kind of become a competitor now in the streaming service, or does it matter? They're Amazon. They're Amazon. Like they have all the money anyway. Like I guess does it matter if they have any good shows to watch, or I mean, what's the final three here? Give me the final three streaming services that will be lasting when the dust settles. Joel?
Oh, you want me to go first? All right.
Sure.
Geez, the final three. Some of them are hard to really kind of pick out just because they're very specific on what they do. But I do think that Amazon has definitely become a player. They have kind of figured out their rhythm and exactly what they need to do. And at the same time, so is Netflix. I mean, yeah, everybody's talking about how they raised the price a little bit, but they are starting to put out much greater content. They're bringing in international effects to kind of like show us a little broader image. But at the same time, with Amazon, I mean, you're talking about Jack Reacher. I'll be honest with you. I've been watching Legend of Vox Machina. So,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's the show. You know about that show?
No, I just said yeah, like I did.
Yeah. So what it is, there is this podcast called Critical Role, and it's a bunch of voice actors who do a lot of different anime for Funimation, things like that,
Oh, cool.
even some of the DC animated universe, where they just play D&D, right? And it's real. It's actually you get into it. It's really a lot
Yeah,
of
it
fun
sounds
because
cool.
they're showing you the character progression. Well, they've turned it into an animated series now that's
Mm,
on Amazon Prime,
okay.
and it's really interesting and good. But that's kind of the thing. I think Amazon, compared to a lot of others, is they're kind of like the Nintendo of the game world. They'll swing for the fences and try something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Luke, what do you think?
Um, Audio cut out, so I missed part of the question, but I think I get the gist of it. Amazon, so streaming spaces right now are very fascinating to me, and they're what I'm going to pay attention to because for the longest time, like Netflix was like the best thing for me. But when HBO Max launched, that dropped Netflix way low on my list. Like
Yeah.
HBO, it's about an incredible series. The thing with Prime is, I think Joel, you said the right thing. Is they take big swings, and some work really well, and some just don't work out at all. But there are a lot of series on Prime where I think a lot of people are sleeping on it, and they don't because they're they're one to definitely keep an eye on. So, like Reacher, I'm very intrigued to check it out. I know very little about the character, but seeing that this got picked up so quickly, I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I really enjoyed it so far. I mean, it's very much he's like a badass Sherlock Holmes kind of character, like a meathead, musclehead Sherlock Holmes. So it's like he's like the ultimate male, basically detective, which is like it's interesting. Like we don't get those kind of characters anymore, and I'm like, oh, this is cool to kind of see this come back a little bit. So I think it's kind of filling a gap that we're kind of missing. I will say this, Amazon Prime, if you're listening, get your fucking interface fixed. Like it's the worst goddamn streaming interface in the existence of interfaces. Like it's awful looking. It's bad. It don't look sexy. It don't look appealing. I don't want to look for things on there. Like it's just not
so
good.
looking at it from a developer perspective, so much of it makes zero sense to me because they're provided templates for this stuff, and you can see like a lot of the big streaming service, especially on the TV apps, like They utilize that, but some of them don't, and I don't get it because it makes their experience really bad. Showtime is horrible. Prime is
Yeah,
not the
it's
best.
it's not that great either. Showtime's not the best.
Yeah,
I could grab a set of thumbnails, like PNG thumbnails, and throw them against the wall, and it would look better than what Amazon Prime puts out on their interface. It makes no sense to me. I
yeah,
do like HBO Max's. I think it's pretty
yeah,
sexy.
Yeah.
And of
yeah.
course,
It's pretty
I
good.
even
Yeah,
like Apple TVs. For the most part, like I like
for the most part.
access
Yeah,
to my library for the most part. Let's move on
And
here.
HBO's pretty smart on how they use hubs too. I think that's an
Yeah,
important thing.
yeah. Okay, look, DC. Let's just go to DC. Adult Swim or kids stuff. Like, yeah, it makes sense to me. Super Bowl trailers. And we're talking more about movie trailers here. So we could
Sure.
spend like a whole podcast on this, but we kind of give some highlights here. Okay, first of all, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness drops. This thing is blowing up the internet for obvious reasons. The other one we have is Moon Knight. We also have
Hmm.
they reshowed Jurassic World Dominion trailer, which it was the same exact trailer. They also showed Lord of the Rings, right? And I think that was all the
Yeah.
big major ones. So, what was your favorite Super Bowl movie trailer? And I may have missed one or two, but whatever it is, tell me what's exciting to you about it the most. Luke, go first.
oh man. Really, I gotta go to the top two. I mean, top two for me are going to be Doctor Strange and Moon Knight. Mostly because Moon Knight, I'm very new to this character. This just looks bonkers crazy. The few details we've been given about it, that they've kind of like been given more creative freedom for this character, has me really excited about the show. Yeah. Hopefully, it doesn't turn out to be a bust. I'm hoping it goes bonkers crazy. And then
I agree.
if we want to dive directly into Doctor Strange 2, I mean, there's been so many rumors about the casting in this that we're going to get so many characters, and they already gave us one in this trailer, and um, potentially two actually. Because the more I looked into it last night, there's a particular scene where you think it's Captain Marvel, but most people think it's actually Superior Iron Man, and they're just trying to dissect this trailer and. Oh, it's so awesome.
Interesting. Do you think? Well, yeah, Joe, go first, then we'll kind of dive into some of this stuff. Joe, what's your most anticipated trailer that dropped for Super Bowl last night?
Well, first and foremost, I'm basically a giant hobbit, all right? I like my 7 meals a day, and
Right.
ventures are terrible things. Make one late for dinner.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm a massive Tolkienite, man. I mean, as much as I love Star Wars and everything else, Tolkien always kind of ekes out for me. So I am so stoked for the Lord of the Rings, just like the War of the Rings. Everything about this, I'm just like, oh, we're just deep diving into this delicious lore that most people really don't know about. Video is just a great way. Plus, it just looks good. I mean, the whole entire thing is epic. It is pure fantasy. It's just delicious.
Obviously it has a lot of like Peter Jackson kind of vistas and visuals, and it looks like they're doing a lot of practical mixed with CGI. A lot more practical versus CGI, I guess, like bigatures and that kind of stuff. At least it appears to be. One thing that's
Looks like
interesting
it, yeah.
one thing that's interesting is some of the other stylistic things they're doing, like I don't know, just shot design, slow-mo stuff that feels more modern, feels more, last 15, 20 years versus, Lord of the Rings. So do you think it's going to
made me hurt for a second. Hold on.
or do you think it's going to fit in there nicely with Lord of the Rings, or do you think it's going to be kind of? I'm a little nervous about it. I won't lie. Like I'm nervous about it. I don't know how I feel about it yet.
I honestly don't know, and I'm going to be honest with you. I really couldn't care less. You know me. We've talked about kind of my feelings on Star Wars in general. I mean, you guys kind of get a little more critiquey about it than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm such a purist fan of these things. I just want lore. I just want stuff coming out.
Sure.
So I'm happy for just about everything. I mean, yeah, let them ride the Rancor. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. No, we're doing
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler. No, we are doing. Yeah, if they're on here, they should know it's spoilers. We are doing a Boba Fett breakdown later this week, I believe.
Heck
So, yeah, I mean, I'll have to go here with Luke. I'm sorry, Joel, but I think Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, like that trailer looked pretty insane. I love
can't
seeing
be mad. It was insane.
Yeah, Zombie Strange. That was like incredible. And of course, we had, I mean, we can say it, Professor X, and they're played by Patrick Stewart. I mean, you hear the voice, you see like
Hmm.
his ear, the back of his bald head, and out of focus. You're pretty sure that's him, right? There's a lot there we
Oh
could
yeah.
break down, like that's really interesting about that. And yeah, you're right. I didn't think Superior Iron Man, but there is rumor. I mean, every rumor's happening, right, for the movie, but that Tom Cruise will come back and play like an evil Iron Man or something like that. But the thing I want to ask real quick to kind of, because this is interesting. Do you think Tom Cruise would come in for a small role like that, like a small, 5-10 minute screen time kind of role, or does he have a bigger presence in it? Is he the bad guy of the movie? I don't think he is. But what's your guys' thoughts on that? Would Tom Cruise come to play in the MCU for 5 minutes?
100%. I think it could be a little bit more than that because really the two big things you got to take away from this trailer is that wherever Doctor Strange ends up, it looks like he's meeting the Illuminati. So we know that Professor X is part of that. The potential that Superior Iron Man's part of that. Who else is part of that? We don't really know, and we don't really know what the motive is there and where that's going to lead to. The other one is the big scene is where it does look like Captain Marvel, but people have zoomed in where if you look at the face, it does look like you can see a beard. So they're expecting that to be Superior Iron Man. So the question is like, will we get Iron Man that we know as well, and will they kind of battle it out, or is his role to lead Doctor Strange on this journey to resolve what's going on?
Yeah, I totally see like this movie, as much as it needs to be like self-contained for Strange's arc, whatever that arc is. This is like the big setup for Secret Wars, right? It has to be
Hmm.
like I could see them setting up even more Kang possibilities. Superior Iron Man's a great idea, which I wonder if we'll get the white armor then. See, that's what's interesting. I don't think they would if it is Iron Man. I think they would just CGI her out or CGI him out and put Captain Marvel in there. I doubt they'd actually show us Iron Man in there. So just clearly they like to mess with us in the trailer. So I just don't see that kind of happening. But I'm curious. I'm curious. And we know that Captain Carter, her shield's on the poster. We know like Master Mordo, which might be a variant of Mordo, and in the first Doctor Strange, he's on the Illuminati. You can see his dreadlocks walking in shadow. It's
Hmm.
interesting. I'm curious. I mean, obviously, this thing is going to be a wild movie. I want my Chris Evans
Totally.
Human Torch. I want Wesley Snipes Blade. I want Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. I want everybody who's ever fucking been in a Marvel movie to be in this goddamn movie, which is going to be impossible when I totally understand. I also want Ben Affleck back as Daredevil. Give it to me, Ben
Ooh,
Affleck. Like, come out, do it. I know you. I know you don't want to, but do it for me. Um, we could talk
man.
about this all day long. Last thing, Moon Knight. I'm I'm more stoked for Moon Knight than Lord of the Rings. Also, like him catching the blade from, it looks like it's going to appear from the moon, and he's going to catch
Yeah,
it.
it's
Like that
sweet.
shit is next level, and that is why I watch the MCU, boys. Okay, moving on here. So, I'm going to kind of skip some of the stuff here, but casting news: Kraven the Hunter, Russell Crowe is cast in mysterious role. So is Cody Smith McPhee, rumored to be Chameleon in Kraven the Hunter. And then we have Anthony Ramos in Ironheart, with Anthony Ramos is Into the Heights. He's also in Hamilton. So, real question. My big question here, this is coming from Deadline. My big question is, are you guys excited for Kraven the Hunter or Ironheart? I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I mean, I love Kraven the Hunter, the character, but I like it when he's treated correctly. Not like a certain symbiote. Under the certain regime right now. So, Joel, are you excited for
Yeah,
Kraven the Hunter?
Yeah, I mean, this is the way I'm looking at it. Who's pushing out Craven the Hunter? Is it going to be Marvel Studios or is it going to be
It's Sony.
Sony? It's Sony.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
You
I
hear my voice? It's
enjoyed.
Sony. It's
Yeah, no, I
Sony.
heard your voice entirely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I enjoyed the first Carnage a lot. Not the first Carnage. Excuse me. I enjoyed the first Venom. I thought it was done right. I thought it was still done really, really well. And obviously, it's all tying in together now. I mean, that's probably the best thing about Let There Be Carnage. It's just the fact that at the very end, okay, now here we are. We're all connected. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I don't know,
really,
man.
I
I'm gonna
really
watch
like
it.
these movies. Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm gonna buy the fucking steelbook. I'm not happy to have it, Joel, but I'm gonna buy it.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
let's just let's throw it in there too. Let's do Morbius. Are we like it's got the like it don't seem like it's possible, but the New Mutants was delayed over and over and over again. Morbius has now
Right.
surpassed that delay amount of time. Are we excited for that either, Luke? Granted, I'm going to buy the steelbook for all these stupid fucking movies, and I'll be there opening night. But do we want this, Luke? Is this what we're asking for?
Oh my gosh! So on all of these, look, yeah, I mean, we think Morbius has done some interesting things in their trailer. Where yes, I definitely want to go see it because I need the answers for that. I'm cautious about Kraven the Hunter. That is a character I really like. I grew up watching the animated Spider-Man series, and that was one of my favorite characters. I am bummed that it's like another Marvel character recast. Granted, they've kind of done it before. Like, they could make it work. In terms of Russell Crowe, the only article I've seen was that he's cast to play Kraven's father. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be a mysterious role or if we know exactly kind of what he's doing there. Again, it's kind of like a recast. Well, not really a recast, but it's going to be interesting because it's
going to be interesting.
He plays the father type figure in these superhero films.
I like Man of
I don't
Steel.
know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Don't know too much about Ironheart, so I'm excited for that no matter what. But Kraven, I'm cautious. Yeah.
I was gonna say the big rumor for Ironheart is that Robert Downey Jr. will come back as like basically her Jarvis, right? He'll come back in a vocal sense, and he has said, "Yeah, I'm down for that," in like a roundabout way. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Mission Impossible. We know that this is one of the pandemic movies, right? And obviously, we got the big Tom Cruise blowout recording that went viral. So we know Christopher McQuarrie is back to shoot Mission Impossible 8. The plan was to shoot 8 and 9 back to back, and of course that didn't happen for all kinds of reasons. So 8 comes out July 14th, 2023, and 9 is supposed to come out in June 28th, 2024. So we're a little bit away from these movie releases, and it's going to be a send-off, so to speak, for Ethan Hunt, which makes sense, right? I'm sure 8 will probably end in a big cliffhanger. Maybe the mission will fail, right? And then everybody like, this already was done with Empire Strikes Back, but now everybody wants a piece of this like cliffhanger thing with Endgame, right? So then 9 will come in and wrap everything up. Are you guys a fan of Mission Impossible series like I am? Like I love all the movies, and these last few have been absolute bangers.
Oh yeah,
totally, man.
Love it. MI1 is one of my favorite films. It's one of my favorite movie theater experiences.
MI1?
It's so good.
Yeah, man, it's underrated.
I'm sorry, Luke. How old are you? When did MI1 come out?
I am about to be 35.
When did
Children, I'm going to need you both to calm down, okay? All right? As the 38-year-old here, y'all need to relax.
It came out in 1996. Okay. I mean, hey, if someone put a gun to my head, I'd say Mission Impossible 1 could be my favorite Mission Impossible. Like, seriously. Was it Jonathan Demme who directed that, right? Or no, Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma directed Mission Impossible 1. That movie fucking rocks. And I love the spy aspect of it, like the more hardcore, like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy kind of part of it versus the action stuff. Also, amazing one-liner at the end. But I really like Road Nation a lot too. Like, it kind of got kind of very spy heavy. Yeah, and of course I do like Fallout too. Like Fallout's great. It's a good action movie, I would say. But I was 4 when that came out. Okay, Joe, what do you think about Mission Impossible?
I'm with him. I mean, I love Mission Impossible, and I like the very first one because it gave us just a real good spy movie. And then, of course, with Mission Impossible 2, you really bumped up that action sequence and everything else. I mean, I remember having that DVD and just like really enjoying all the little special features of Mission Impossible 2. In fact, that you had Metallica playing one of the theme songs for it.
Yeah. The one of the best things about Mission Impossible 2, and hey, I love that movie, John Woo all day long. It is the Ben Stiller Academy Award.
Yes.
For that. That's like it and Jack Black for Spider-Man are like 2 of my favorite Academy Awards like skits they've ever done. Like, do more stuff like that, Academy. Make like fake movies, with modern day movies. That'd be so fun. Like, do that stuff. That's great. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Of course, it will be sad to see him go, but also like I bet the insurance on these movies just is fucking more than the actual budget of the movie
I
because Tom
mean,
Cruise is trying to jump out of fucking space stations and shit. So like they're probably
exactly.
like, and he can't, his body can't do it forever. I know he's a machine. I know he's a workhorse. I know he's, he's talented, right? But he can't do it forever, nor should he do it forever. And
No.
I just, we want to see him in other movies, right? And I'm excited to see it come to a close. I think he's had a good stint. I've enjoyed these movies more than I have the Bond movies in the last decade, actually. But like overall, I've enjoyed them more,
Wow.
I think.
Really?
Yeah,
Man.
definitely. Like, hey, I love Casino Royale. I love Skyfall. I even like No Time to Die. But these movies are just what I think Bond used to be, which is the fun gadgets, good action sequences. Like I like to have fun in my movies. And hey, again, Casino Royale, one of the best movies ever made. But I digress. Okay, boys. Um, moving forward. So, Netflix Marvel show. This is a big one. It's kind of dropped a little later in the league. So the Netflix Marvel shows
Sure.
are leaving the service in March. And at first, it was kind of like, okay, what does that mean? Where are they going to go? And there's some other reports kind of come out from Variety saying that the licensing deal kind of ended, and that, which is interesting because they are Netflix shows, right? We have three seasons of Daredevil, two of Luke Cage, two of Jessica Jones, two of Iron Fist, and of course Defenders, and then two more of the Punisher. That's over like 100 episodes of content, right? Now they're leaving. The rumor is they might go to Hulu. I wish they'd put it on Disney Plus and say fuck the kid rating thing because I want everything in the same spot. But what does that mean? Is Marvel going to cherry pick like they did with Daredevil and Kingpin, or are those characters actually from those continuities? I don't think they are. What do you guys think?
I don't know. It's a tough one. I'm with you. I want these to go to Disney Plus. It just makes sense to me, but I could definitely see them going to Hulu. Versus if you're in the UK, it would probably go to Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I think they don't nitpick the little things as much.
yeah. It's what it's called, Stars or something. Like it's like the
Yeah,
yeah, like, dude, why? Like we're in the U.S. Like we don't give a shit about violence and stuff. Like why does it not? I don't get it. Like it makes no.
yeah. If
Oh,
anything, I think they'll put Daredevil because they basically said like, I mean, Charlie Cox, he just signed. He said he's doing Daredevil like hopefully the next
Mhm.
decade, even longer. So
yeah.
I think because we already got Kingpin,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I can see them doing that. It's just the other shows like I don't know.
I mean, Iron Fist was kind of like I've only seen the first season, and that shit was kind of hard to watch. I've never seen
I never watched that one.
yeah, it was like just in a boardroom the whole time, basically. Like these two siblings fighting in a
Yeah.
boardroom, and I was like, what in the hell am I watching? Joe, what do you think? Are they cherry picking, or are they, bringing it
I
all
don't
in?
think they're going to. I think they're going to bring it all in. In all honesty, I mean, because that's really all the steps they're taking right now with the Marvel universe is exactly what we're seeing. There's, what we just talked about in Doctor Strange. They're starting to unite everything and put it all together. I do think that the Netflix stuff is a part of the main Marvel universe, though. And obviously, Charlie Cox is going to be there. We've seen the Kingpin in all his glory. I mean, that's the Kingpin, hands down. It's like, but I don't think they're going to let anything go. I think they are going to bring it all back in. I think we are going to continue to see the Punisher. Even though there were times I really expected him to like be walking around going, "You can't protect him, Red."
Yeah. Well, I think I'm partially right on both. I think they're going to bring it in general into the multiverse. And I think they're going to
Mhm.
cherry pick the things they want. I do not think, I can't think of his name, the guy who plays Danny Rand slash Iron Fist. I don't think he's going to show up in
Okay.
Shang-Chi. I think Danny Rand will appear in Shang-Chi or something else down the line with a different actor. I think like Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, I think he will be Daredevil, of course, like we've seen in No
Mhm.
Way Home, but he might have the original black, red, yellow suit first. I think he'll be a variant, right? I think that the Netflix stuff will be variants versus the prime MCU stuff. I do wish they would bring it to the same area just because I like consistency. I like the idea that I mean I have Hulu, but I don't want to have Hulu to watch this kind of stuff. I want
Right.
the ability to have it all in one spot. I wish they'd have some type of like children lock or something on Disney Plus where kids can't watch certain content. I just want to see it all there together. I want to see I
No,
want to
they
see
do. I
Blade
mean,
and Yeah, I want to see all of it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, on all of my streaming services, I have it set up so like I've got my side of things, and then I set up a kids page
Me
for all the
too.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense though too. I mean, like, I guess Hulu, it does well enough for them to keep going. But I mean, they have all these 20th Century Fox movies that they bought. Like, I think Die Hard, Predator, they have Alien. I think all these movies, like, put it on Disney Plus. I mean, like, I get it, but like, give it to me on one spot, man. Like, I don't know, call it something else, and then have like a button where I pick Disney Plus or Hulu. I'd rather have that than two different apps. It'd be the same thing, but in one spot. But still, I don't know. I want it. I just want it easy, accessible, and I want it all in one spot. That's my big thing here. But I am
The
excited to see
biggest
whether. Yeah, go for it.
the biggest problem right now, of course, is though Hulu is basically our way to catch up on live TV right now. If you don't have live TV, basically it comes up almost immediately on Hulu, and that's kind of what they're using Hulu for at the moment. Uh,
True.
let's see what the future holds, though, because we can see how the system is evolving, and we're really going to start going away from live television just straight into streaming.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I know they're making a lot of money from ads and that sort of thing, but
Hmm.
I mean, Netflix is experimenting with ads in other smaller countries to kind of test audiences. Um, I mean, I assume they're just going to be TV services at the end of the day. It'll be Netflix. You pay for a higher premium for no ads, but Netflix will eventually be $60 a month, in 30 years or 40 years or something,
Possible.
or even sooner than that. I mean, then you'll be picking, okay, I just get one versus whatever, and then someone will come along that is cheaper option, the different option, better option, and they'll destroy the system again. It's just part of it, right? Okay, our last
Hmm.
main topic for the day is about Hellboy 3. So Ron Perlman says, am I eager to do Hellboy 3? No. I'm 71 fucking years old. But we owe this to the fans, and we should give it to them because it would be an epic conclusion. So, Guillermo, if you're reading, I'm not done pounding you to get this fucking thing done. I enjoyed reading that quote because I want Hellboy 3 as well, Ron Perlman. I remember watching the last Hellboy movie and thinking, man, I wish I was watching Hellboy 3 right now because I love Hellboy, specifically Hellboy 2. I like Hellboy 1 also. But what do you guys think? Do you
Really?
think it's going to happen? Yeah, dude, Hellboy 2, The Golden Army? That movie,
Uh,
hashtag fucks. So what do you guys think about Hellboy 3?
is that a hashtag? Can I get it checked?
It's yeah, please check the source.
It's gonna happen.
Luke, what are you thinking about it?
Oh, it's gonna happen for
It's
sure.
going to happen.
Yeah.
What sort? You mean he's really? I mean, do you think Del Toro will come? I mean, like Del Toro is like when I think of him, I think he's the director that has 15 spinning plates of movies, and then they all crash, and
Hmm.
he makes something totally that wasn't even announced. It's like his whole career's been that way. Like, oh, I've got 5 movies I'm going to direct. He directs none of them and directs something totally different. So he just had
Yeah.
Nightmare Alley come out. He did Shape of Water before that, correct? So I wonder,
Mhm.
does he have time for these big blockbuster things, or does he want to stay in more kind of indie Academy Award kind of thing? I mean, I don't know. I want it, but I don't know who owns the rights to Hellboy, and I
Because that's
mean, do what?
yeah, that's probably the bigger question is who actually owns that, and are they gonna work with them, or are they gonna be too stingy and prevent it from happening? I have high hopes that this would happen. I think it makes sense if you look at the success of No Way Home and what happened there, like, and just kind of what they're doing with characters like Kingpin and Daredevil. Like, do it for the fans. Don't worry about the dollars. Do it for the fans.
I mean, real quick, let's talk about this. So Hellboy 2004 made budget was 66 million. It made 99 million. Not a big return. Hellboy 2 85 million budget, but it made 168 worldwide, which is better. You typically want like a
Hmm.
2.5 multiplier for the box office. Now, Hellboy 2019, the most recent one with David Harbour, was $50 million budget, but it made $55 million worldwide, which didn't even cover marketing costs. So that movie was a total flop. The numbers aren't really here to make a Hellboy 3, but damn it, I want it. Joel, what's your thoughts on this?
I think that's what the secret is. We all want the nostalgia. We want the Ron Perlman back and everything else. And like you says, I'm 71, but heck, whatever, I'll do it. I mean, I think that's what's really going to happen. You're talking about yo to the fans just to do that, but I think that studios are really starting to realize too that you give it to the fans are going to give you their money. So you can definitely make a profit off of this. let's be honest, as much as I enjoy David Harbour, there is no iteration of Hellboy except for Ron Perlman. I mean, he was that. I love both of those movies. I think the first one is a little more enjoyable to me. That's the, calm down, calm down. I see your reaction.
Yeah.
It's like, but I think that's the one that really gave us that magic, that really got us into, yes, this character is legit. I want to watch this. I want to see a whole entire series about him. And then, of
Yeah.
course, the prequel, Shape of Water. I mean, that was just sexy. So,
Hey, it basically was a prequel, right? No, I mean,
yeah,
I want it. I want it really bad. I don't know if we'll get it, Luke. I know I like your optimism on it, but
I'm with Luke.
yeah. Hey, I hope you guys are right. I just don't. I don't. I mean, if it does happen, I see it potentially happening like on a streaming service, just for the money sake of it all. Like it would be a banger for any like to have that. They would have an influx of people watching it, right, from online. But also, I don't know if Del Toro would want to do it if it was on a streaming service. Like, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty curious about the situation. I mean, Ron Perlman's been saying this back and forth for about 10 plus years now, 15 years. So this could be just another thing he's saying because Nightmare Alley's out and someone asked him about it. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. Last thing I want to do, and I want to do this for every episode moving forward, since we release on Monday mornings, Tuesdays is always movie night in the Thompson household. And release in terms of getting new Blu-rays. And I want to list out the new Blu-rays coming out tomorrow, Tuesday, on February 15th. We have Eternals, and then we have Looper in 4K re-release, and we have The Howling in a 4K re-release. This is kind of a short week this week, but if you haven't seen Eternals, it's out on Disney Plus already. And of course, if you're like me, that Steelbook will be arriving sometime tomorrow in the mail. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it being on here. Last thing I want to do, of course, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. That way you're up to date on all future episodes of 2 for 1 in terms of podcast 2 for 1, of course, 2 for 1 Joe Live, and all the other cool content we have. And if you haven't, you can always leave a comment in the comment section below as we're going live. Or if you missed the show live, you can always go to bit.ly/2for1mail. There you can let us know about all the cool things we talked about today. Hellboy 3, what was your favorite Super Bowl ad? And of course, are you going to buy Eternals tomorrow like I am? So, Joel, thank you so much for being on here. Real quick, plug your channel with your family, YouTube.
Institutionalized on YouTube. We've been taking a little bit of a break. We've been having some issues. We're trying to take care of some things. But if you want to see a really cool YouTube where we review local stuff around the state of Arkansas, that's fun for everybody to do, check us out on YouTube at Institutionalized.
Awesome. Luke, where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, you can go to youtube.com/Luke Urban. I've had a little bit of a break. I'm currently rebranding my channel, so I'll have that done pretty soon, and I'll start getting more videos out soon. Probably my next one could be the Batman. I got the early tickets for that, so
Heck yeah.
yeah, I'm excited about that one. But I may post just a general update before then. But I also co-host a podcast called Agents of Mace, where we talk about all things Marvel. We've been putting out weekly episodes, so check us out there. We'll cover the Super Bowl trailers, and we're almost about to hit our 1 year. So we're going to circle back and talk about WandaVision again before we talk about Doctor Strange too.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on your 1 year. Real quick, did you get tickets for the AMC theater in Little Rock?
I did not. I didn't see the details. I thought I missed it. I thought the day of, I thought it went out on midnight. I didn't realize the tickets were going on sale like 10 p.m. in our time or 10 a.m. in our time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I did get just for my local theater. I didn't go IMAX, but I think I'm still seeing it like on an XD screen.
Okay, heck yeah. Well, I'll be there Friday night on March 4th to watch it. Normally I catch a Thursday night showing, but wasn't in the cards this time. Everybody, thank you guys so much for being on the panel today. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Hopefully we can do it many more Mondays in the future, and you guys are always welcome on the show. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you next time.